Hello everybody, hello and happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. My name is Mandy Van Havermet and I am an independent demonstrator from Great Eagle, Minnesota, where it is snowing again. It's the winter that's never going to end, I'm telling you. Big exciting news this week, if you were a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator at least. They announced that there is going to be a color refresh when the new catalog launches in May, with a color refresh. That means some colors have to retire in order to make room for new colors to come in. So I have mixed feelings about the color refresh because there are some really great colors that are retiring, but there are some phenomenal colors that are coming back or being introduced back or are brand new. I think you guys are very well aware that Pretty Peacock, I'm still in mourning from Pretty Peacock being retired a few years ago. It was an in color. Pretty Peacock is coming back. Berry Burst is coming back. That makes me the happiest stamper in the whole wide world because those were my two favorite colors. So I'm really excited for the color refresh to be coming in. Also, they announced, we got to take a sneak peek of the new catalog. That means a new catalog is coming out, and that means things are retiring also, not just colors. So I thought I would take out some tools and some stamp sets that are going to be retiring here coming up. So tonight I'm playing with Glad We're Friends, and I'm playing with layering circles dies. Layering circles are kind of a staple. If you don't have them, I would suggest getting them. They're a really good value. There's a lot of dies in the set. I'll show it here to you here in just a second when I flip the camera around. But there's a lot in them. A great set of dies to get. There's a lot of stuff that's retiring, but then again, there's a lot of stuff coming in that's going to be great. So, also, while I'm on the topic of retiring, the Stamparatus is going away. If you don't have a Stamparatus and you've ever thought about getting one, I would get one sooner rather than later. They're great tools for placement and for making lots of cards. I've showed some other videos in the past of the Stamparatus. They are phenomenal, and they also will be going away. So if you haven't got a Stamparatus, get one soon. Okay, now we're going to flip the camera around and we're going to get stamping with Glad We're Friends. Hold on just one second. Let's do the flipping around here. Enough talking, right? Let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so this is Glad We're Friends. I'm going to shut that light off. There we go. So much better. That's the Glad We're Friends stamp set. It's so cute. It's just a fun stamp set. This dog right here, I think it's a corgi. My sister had a dog like that when we were kids. So his name is Fritz. Every time I stamp, I'm going to turn that around just a little bit. I'm just a little weird. Every time I stamp with this stamp set, I think that's Fritz. Okay, the layering circles. I said they were a good value. This is why. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 8 times 2, 16 dies here. And they layer nicely. I'll show you what I mean. But they layer just so pretty. They're great dies to have. So, and like I said, there's lots of them. So if you are a die fan, and you don't have the circle dies, this is something that will be retiring here when the new catalog comes out. They may sell out sooner, so if you're wanting them, I would get them sooner rather than later. Okay, let's get stamping. Excuse me. Okay, the first stamp card I am going to do for you is actually a bit of a fun fold. So I've got Calypso Coral and Parakeet Party, and I've got Tuxedo Black ink. We are going to make a bit of a fun fold. So let's see here. I've got my cheat sheet for you. I've got a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 cardstock scored down the middle here at 5 1/2. I have got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 5 1/4 by 8, and I'm going to show you where to score it. We're going to score it at 4 and at 2. So I'll show you where to score that. I've got a piece of designer series paper. Oh my gosh, the words just fell out of my head. This is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. This is from the let's see, Butterfly Kisses Designer Series paper pack. So there's no butterflies on the back of it, but that's the Butterfly Kisses. And then I've got a scrap of Calypso Coral. No, I don't. I missed the Calypso Coral piece. We're going to add on here. Let me grab my black marker. We have got a piece of, no, this is a scrap. I'm right. I've got it. I redid. Okay, here's the card we're making. I revamped it a little bit. So I added Calypso Coral in here. We're not going to do that, but it's a fun fold like that. It's called a circle cutout fun fold. I got the idea for this from my friend Anna, and she got it from Sunny Day Stamping. So this is my scrap of Calypso Coral, a scrap of basic white. I've got this. Okay, let's score this, and I will show you what I mean by 2 and 4. So we're going to score it at 4, right down there, and then we're going to score it again at 2. Okay, so now our paper is scored. And before I get stamping, I'm going to do something else that I don't know if you guys are aware that that you're able to do this. This is the crinkle seam binding ribbon. This will also be retiring. I love this ribbon because you can do something that is oh so fun with it. I didn't have a coral ribbon, so I am making my own. So I've got my silicone craft matte, or my silicone craft sheet here, and I am just coloring this, and I want to color it a little earlier in my project here so that it has time to dry. So I'll do just a little bit more. And so this is another great tool. You can use your blends to do this. I would not advise using a Stampin' Write marker. The blends are the alcohol-based marker, right? So they don't rub off at all and they soak in nicely. So now I've got Calypso Coral ribbon. So the crinkle seam binding, if you don't have any of that, this is going away also. That's a great thing. I'm going to set it up there so that it dries. Set my craft sheet aside. And let's get going here. Okay, so I'm going to, I feel out of sorts. Okay, I've got my Memento ink. I'm going to take the kitty cat. I'm going to stamp him right in there. Some nice black ink. And then I'm going to open up my Parakeet Party and my Calypso Coral. And I've got this cute little, it's like a confetti stamp. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit of confetti around my cat. And I'm mixing it up here. I just did it in ink. This is what happens when you put brown or Calypso Coral and Parakeet Party together. You end up with a nice brown color. I guess we're having some brown confetti too. This is why I never have 2 ink pads open at the same time. Bad things happen. It's okay. All right, maybe a little bit more right there. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And now I'm going to color my cat. I've got my blends here. I've got the Smoky Slate, the dark and the light Smoky Slate. I've got a Daffodil Delight. I've got a Parakeet Party, and I have the Dark Petal Pink. I don't need the Parakeet Party. I had done something different earlier. So we've just got the basic blends here. The Petal Pink, the grays, the Smoky Slate, and the Daffodil Delight. I always keep my color lifter on hand in case I make an oops. I'm going to start with the Dark Petal Pink. Get my cat's ears. And then I do like to color around his nose just a little bit. Now I'm going to take my light smoky slate. And I'm a basic color. I don't do a lot of extra blending and things like that, but it is fun, and you can totally do a lot with coloring and shading and things like that. I'm just going to color him a nice gray. He's going to be a nice gray cat. Right along the edges. And so some dates to remember and some things to remember. I did post on my Facebook page here which colors will be retiring. And so you can check that out there. Like I said, I am sad about it, but I'm not too sad because there are some phenomenal colors coming back in. I do think the ones that I am saddest about are Mary Merlot, because I use that so often for masculine cards, and Soft Suede. But there's some really good colors coming that I think will kind of ease my pain of Soft Suede. So, all right, now we're going to take our circle dies. Okay, so I'm going to take this circle die right here, and I am going to cut out that Mr. Cat. And so that's why I did the confetti around there, just kind of random. And then I'm going to take the size that's just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to cut out a Calypso coral, okay? So let's build our sandwich here. Get these out of the way. I've got that guy right there. And then I'm just going, like I said, I'm going to do one Calypso coral for the background. And I'm going to run that through my cut and emboss machine. I will be right back. Okay. So there are these guys right here. Okay. So they'll layer on there just pretty like that. Put these back on my sheet for just a second. Set this aside. Now, whoops. Okay, let's build our card. So I'm going to fold and burnish my Parakeet Party. This is such a fun color of, I'm going to turn that back on. I've got some terrible shadows. There we go. Fun color of lime green. Okay, and so I'm going to center this right on like that. Okay, so I'm going to use my seal. And you can cut through, I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss machine also. So my advice is use either glue or seal. If you use glue, make sure it's dry before you run it through your cut and emboss. So I'm going to line it up right on the bottom like this. And so it goes the full length. And so now I'm going to open that back up. I'm going to pull in the bigger, these are the two circle dies I used before. I'm going to pull in that bigger one, and I'm going to cut a circle right there. Okay, so cut and emboss machine. And yes, that's 2 layers, but the cut and emboss machine will do it. It is, as they say, it is a mighty machine. So we're going to center it roughly. I don't get too particular. If you want to, you can totally measure it. And I am going to cut that out. And when I do it, I'm going to roll it. I'm going to roll my, actually, I'm going to do a trick first. I almost forgot. This plate is kind of chewed up a lot. If you look at it, it's really kind of rough. I'm going to just set a piece of scratch. This is icky scratch paper that I had from before. It's just a piece of copy paper. I'm going to set that down. That's going to prevent the marks from this icky chewed up plate from transferring on to here, which you will see. You'll see that part. So now when I roll it through my cut and emboss machine, I'm going to roll it past my die, and then I'm going to roll it back because I don't want this part to go through. It will leave a crease in my paper. I don't want that. So let's do it. So there I went through forwards, and now I'm coming backwards, rolling backwards, so that I don't get, now when I take this off, if I wouldn't have done that, I would have had a line right there if I would have rolled it straight through. So now that cut through both pieces of paper just fine. It actually cut through that as well. And it made it so I don't have the icky marks from this plate. So just a little tip for you. All right, so let's build the rest of our card. Let's put it together. I've got my inside piece here. So I'm going to fold it in half, just like that, and burnish it. And then I'm going to fold the 2-inch section back. So we're making kind of a Z fold. Is that a Z fold? I'm so bad with names. I just do it. I don't know what it's called. Okay, so while I've got this out, because I've still got both sides of my paper open, right? I'm going to do my stamping on the inside. And I'm going to use the sentiment, a friend like you comes along once in 9 lives. So a nice friendship card. Straight down and straight up. Perfect. Okay. So let's open that up. And now I'm going to adhere this down. And we're just centering it right inside. I should have that open. Center that right inside. Just like that. So now this piece will open like that. Okay? So we can shut this. And now I've got this part here that's open to be putting adhesive on. So let's just put some adhesive on there. And there we go. So now it sits right perfectly inside there. Just like that. Take some dimensionals. Flip over my little kitty cat. He looks like he's up to something. I think all cats are up to something at all times. My cats are so ready for the snow to be gone too. They want to go outside. They want to climb trees. They want to go play in the woods. All right, so now that's bumped up. So it opens like that and like that. Cute, right? Okay, now remember I colored this ribbon earlier. So now it's nice and dry. I do tend to take my bone folder because it gets a little stiff after you've colored it. So I do take my bone folder and just kind of do that with it. And we are going to just tie a cute little ribbon, tie a bow. If you don't like bows, tie a knot, but this adds just the perfect amount of perfect touch, I think. Got it I'm going to pull it this way just a little bit because we might end up tying a knot. I might have not enough ribbon colored. There we go. It worked. It worked. We're just going to snip it off like so. There we go. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Starling. Okay, now I'm going to show you one trick because this will open up and it could slide around. I like to take and put it exactly where I want it, and I don't want it to ever move, right? And I'm going to take a glue dot, and I take your pick tool, and I'm going to put a glue dot right under the knot of that bow. So now it can't really move. It's just kind of stuck there, and it makes it a little bit more stable so that it can't. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn that the other direction. Here we go. Come on, work with me. There we go. I don't know if that made a difference or not. Anyhow, there we go. Card number 1. So there, if you'd like to take a screenshot, are the measurements of everything. Super cute, right? I love it. And I love this fold. I think it's a really easy mailable card also. Not going to be getting in your way a whole lot. And I don't like fun fold. I like fun folds that it's not hard for people to figure out. People could figure this card out. So there we go. I had a girlfriend call me once, text me, how do I open this card? I was so excited. I sent her the cutest card. She text me, how do I open this card? So anywho, okay, this next card is going to use a few more products that, 2 of the colors that I'm really sad about that are leaving. We are going with Mary Merlot and Early Espresso ink. And then the colors of cardstock that I'm using are Mary Merlot. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I've got a piece of Designer Series paper. This one happens to be from He's the Man, which the Designer Series papers are also retiring. So this one is 4 by 3 3/4. I've got a piece of Sahara Sand for the inside panel. I like Sahara Sand for inside panels. It's not gray. It's not, let's see, let's pull out a piece of gray granite. So gray granite is more gray than Sahara Sand. And let's pull out Crumb Cake. And Crumb Cake is more brown. So that's where Sahara Sand lands in the scheme of all that. It's kind of just, it's a grayish, tannish color. There are some great ones coming out, but this one I like because it's light enough that you can stamp on it, and I will be actually using this for the inside of the card. And then I've got I've got a piece of Early Espresso, 4 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then I've got 2 reasonably large pieces of scrap of Mary Merlot and Sahara Sand. Okay, so let's do these things first. First, I'm going to take our little Fritz dog right there, and I am going to stamp him in Early Espresso right in the middle of my scrap piece of Sahara Sand. And when you're inking up your stamps, make sure with our stamp pads that you go straight, you just tap on there because they're foam pads, right? You don't need to press really hard. Okay, so here we got our Mary Merlot, which I think is just a beautiful color. And I'm going to stamp Glad We're Friends right underneath like that. Okay, so while I've got my ink pads open, I'm going to take this sentiment here, I'm blown away by you. So another friendship card, and I'm going to stamp that up. Just tap right there in that Early Espresso. And I'm blown away by you. So fun. Okay, let's cover these up. And now, this time, I'm going to bring in, let's see here, let's put my circles back where they were. I'm going to grab the biggest circle and the biggest scallop circle. So I'll show you how nicely they layer together. I am going to cut out the puppy just like that with the straight circle. And then on a piece of Mary Merlot, I'm going to cut out the scalloped to go right behind it. So bring in my cut and emboss machine here, plates. And I'm not worried on this one because you won't see the backside if they get kind of icky looking from the plate that's not so pretty anymore. All right, so I'm going to set that through just like that, and I will be right back. All right, so I bring those back, and there's that and that. Let's put these guys back. And now I'm going to take my plates apart, and I'm going to grab my timber embossing folder and my piece of Early Espresso. It's here. I know it's here because I had it. There's that. Ink pads. You guys can probably see it. Probably sitting right out in front of me. I may end up cutting another. It's not on the floor. Story of my life. Early espresso. Where are you? Let's grab a scrap here. Four and a quarter by 1 3/4. I can so do this. I do like my trimmer. Okay. Take two. Okay, so I've got my base plate here. Hey, guess what I just found? Story of my life. Okay, so this is a 3D embossing folder. The timber folder is a 3D embossing folder. So the way that you use a 3D embossing folder, directions are right on the plate, on the base plate. You're going to take the base plate and plate number 4. So that's this dark gray one. So I want my grain of my wood to run this way on my paper. So I'm going to put it like that, and then plate number 4, and I'll run that through the cut and emboss machine. Just like that. I love the magic of embossing. So pretty. Love it, love it, love it. And that timber embossing folder is one of my favorites. Okay, let's fold and burnish our Mary Merlot. Just like that. Now, I'm going to take the piece of designer series paper, and I'm doing it the long way. So the 4-inch way goes this direction. You could maybe shorten it up if you wanted to, because part of it is going to be covered, but put it like so. So I'm going to pull it down just a little bit because I want a little bit more of that Mary Merlot showing up on top. And center it. And now I'm going to take my embossed piece of early espresso, and I'm going to put it up far enough so that my space is roughly the same on the bottom as it is on the top. Just like that. Now, these layering circles are going to be layered so nicely, just like that. Is that not the cutest? And it doesn't need to be colored. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's put some adhesive on the back of our circle and just center him on there. Just like that. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals and put them on the back. And this one's a little bigger, so we are going to put one in the middle and then one on each, some on the sides. Get out of there. Okay. Let's see, do I want it down lower? I'm going to kind of right about in there. I think that's cute. Oh, so cute. And it's kind of a masculine. It's kind of, it's not, I just love it. Okay, let's put this on the inside and then our card will be complete. Just like that. Card number 2. So if you'd like a screenshot of that, go ahead. So I'll bring in both cards then for tonight. This is seriously, it's so cute. I love this set. And I think it gets overlooked a lot. It's the Glad We're Friends. It's also got a little guinea pig on there with the sentiment, it's going to be a great day. So cute. I love it. Growing up is mandatory. Growing up, or growing older is mandatory, growing up is optional. Happy birthday. And I want to show you what I did with that stamp set. I cut it apart because I wanted this sentiment on a card on the outside and I wanted this on the inside. And so rather than masking them all the time, I just cut them apart because then it was more usable for me. So very good stamp set that will be retiring. It will be available on the retirement list starting April 4th, which I think is Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, as the layering circles will also be on that retiring list. I'm not sure if they're discounted off the top of my head. I don't know. I know some of the products are discounted. So stuff will sell out before May. So just so you're aware. Let's flip the camera back around. So yeah, stuff will sell out before May 1st. I promise. I know that. The colors will sell out. So if you are at all a big fan of some of the retiring in colors, get them sooner rather than later, especially the card stocks and stuff like that, because they will sell out. They won't, I don't believe they're going to be discounted, but they will be available until they're gone. So if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email or message me on Facebook here or on YouTube. If you're watching the YouTube video, the replay, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you. I don't know. I'm not sure how the week is going to go because next week's Easter already. Can you believe it? It's crazy. This winter has flown by, but it's not. I don't know. Anyhow, this is a Minnesota goodbye. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.